You know what? If you're still bitching about your kids, your adult kids, or your, of age kids, use these lawn chairs. 2 weeks now. Parade was 2 weeks ago, but my daughter, she brought all these chairs by, but she put a couple of them in her car. Now, she could have fit the 2 children, one and the other adult one in there, but she didn't. She left it for me. So, the thing is, I ain't even mad about it, okay? See? Those right there, right? That's because I can't lift anything, move it. But see those? I ain't even mad at her. Because you know what? I know her. So, stop getting mad. Stop causing drama where drama is completely, it's not needed. What's dramatic about it? What is dramatic about it? Because I'm sure you've experienced it in a continual pattern since that child has been who they are. Okay? So why are you getting all mad? It just gets to things like that, just to get to, they get to touch on your, something to be pissed about today, to let some kind of festering, cloud of darkness, festering some type of something that's wrestling in you, and you just get a reason now to, you've given it a name, you've given it a reason, you've named it, you've burst it, you've done everything to it. Stop, let it go. Why are you, I will tell you this, those chairs, that's the third place, so I'm gonna put them in that shed. But I put them right there. Now she just pulled up. So I looked at her and I go, "Are you gonna take these?" And she's like, "Not right now. I really don't need them." That's what she said. "I really don't need them right now." I go, "Okay, well," I said, "I'm gonna put them in the shed then." And she's like, "Okay." I go, "Now I'm gonna tell you, I don't know where in the shed they're gonna go, so they may not be able to be easily accessible when you are in a hurry, as you always are, to everything, and when you stop and say, 'Where's my lawn chairs?'" Okay, so we're not going to have that battle then, because I'm already nipping the butt now, because I can foresee it coming, because I know her. It's not a good or bad thing. It's not. It's just who she is. She waits till the last minute, and then she'll need them, and then she'll run by here really quick in her hurry. She's a single mom and working mother, and in all her busyness that they all think they have to stay in, that's exactly what will happen. So my thing is, I ain't even mad. I don't even let it get me mad, because I already know her pattern, and they all have a pattern. So if you're letting your children really, if you have a standoff, a standoff, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying, you know what the root is? Really? Very seldom, very few things break their pattern, okay? We want them to break their pattern, or refine their pattern at least, but very few things will ever surprise me enough, because I know that record so well. I know that pattern so well. So, who's getting the shit end of the deal if I get all mad every time? Me! And so I already know I'm the parent. I should be wiser than they are. Okay? A good parent sees their children from all the way up, meaning you see their flaws, you see their greatest of greats, you see their lowest of lows, you see their gifts, but you see how they use each of them in their confusion or in their genius. Which can be actually either or, and it can go together, and they're filled with both. Point is, what a shitty parent I'd be if I did not truly know who my kids are. If I did not know that one's Mr. Magoo. One is Mr. Magoo, and he's always going to walk like Mr. Magoo because he doesn't look down. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? He doesn't walk down with his head down ever since he's been 2 years old. He charges straight ahead, and therefore he breaks every one of his toenails off, jams his toes. I mean, he's 30 years old now. I don't think he has any toenails because he hit them that many times. And each time I would say to him, Taylor, please don't run, because you know what happens, baby. You don't look down and you're going to run right into something. Mom, oh, look, Mom. And he just charges because his eye is on me. His eye is on his destination and his eye is on the target. He doesn't look down to see what's below him. Okay? Now, in a higher matter, that is a fabulous thing. Okay? But, you know, as a child growing up, that's very hard for a parent to watch, because I knew every single meal, every meal. Okay, not every one, but it was pretty close. He was going to spill his drink. He was always going to spill his drink. At whatever meal we were sitting at, his drink, I was going to spill. I don't care if we're out at a restaurant. I don't care where we're at. I don't care. I just killed the most giant flying horsefly I've ever seen in my life. I had to stop right there, okay? See, I know I will tell you this. My daughter, if that was at her house, she'd be on the phone, dead serious, calling me down there to kill it. Because she is dreadfully, at 39, fearful of bugs and spiders. Oh, terrible. I was afraid of them too, until I became a mother. You know what? I had gag reflux until I became a mother. I was a lot of things before I became a mom. Okay? Because I was me. But, you know, so anyway, you do those things because you know they have to be done. And now she has to do her own. You know, I make her kill her own bugs. I'll make her kill her own bugs. But my point is, I know her fears. Just like I knew my children's fears. You know, even though other people don't. Parent knows. Mother knows. You know. You try to let him go through it and deal with it. But my point is to this. Why in the hell going to keep getting mad at the same people for doing the same shit? I mean, your kids, wise. And then you're not going to talk to them, and you're going to do this to them and do that to them. What shocked you over that? What was so different? But we know when we're older than our children. So we should have already been through that phase that they're going through at that age, because they're all patterns. Each child's different, that is right. Some are more stronger, some are more weaker, some are more this, some are more that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's your child. You should know how this situation you have all the clues. You have you've gone through this, but you're going to act like you're surprised every single time it happens. And World War III comes, and then guess what? Everybody gets to go to their corners. They get to get on the phone and call this person or call that person to give their side of the story. And one of them gets to be a victim and one of them gets to be a perpetrator. And this continues to go. And really what it is it's which one gets out there to get their story out first. That's exactly that's what it is. That's the one that the truth tends to lead to, okay? And I'll tell you what, it's usually the one that's trying to manipulate it in their favor. That is exactly what I have found. But, so, I'm just saying, why don't be like that? I love my daughter to death. But I'll tell you, I step in when I feel that it's a slippery slope on something that I think she's getting spiraled out of control on. And spiraled out of control, I'm not saying it's to a place, it's to a person, place, or thing. I can see it in her face. I can see the exhaustion running over her. I can see something is wrong. I see pain. You can't see pain in your children, And yeah, but kids, they'll tell you everything's okay, just like parents do their kids. Oh, it's fine. Kids do the same thing. Same thing. because they really just don't want to bring up that pain, or whatever. But then a kid won't tell because they already know that the mom, they know us just as well as we know them. We're going to see, they're expecting us. They don't come to us anymore with those kind of things because they're expecting judgment. Because of the ages. We've had to go through ages with our kids and stages with our kids. And sometimes we've had to lay down the law. We had to lay down the law. Okay? And then shame on us, but we all do it. We the next time, see, because when they start doing things that totally shock you, it's like, how did I miss that? Well, I better be on top of that next time. So when something happens that's a similar situation or has similar attributes, okay, to that other situation that you were so shocked by, it's like, I'm going to jump in before this even starts. I know what this is because you missed it last time. See, you missed it the first time that it happened because you never thought it would happen the first time. So you're going to be ready. So you're going to jump. You're like, on patrol. And that's what you become. You become the patrolman of something you think when you probably most likely do not know. The fact is, what you have to know is your child. So there is something wrong. Your child is having an issue in an area somewhere, and that's what it is. But we're going to jump in there. So then we get in a role of doing that, because then we see how they hide things. And so the more that they don't speak about stuff, then we're for positive sure. No. Nope. They already no. So kids, adult kids of all ages, they have to stop judging as parents and assuming that we have not evolved like they have, from the time of birth to however old they are, like in 39 years. Hey, Tara, I'm telling you what, you've been alive 39 years. That's a lot of mothering for me, 39 years. And my Trey, he died at 16, he died in 2005 at 16, but I'm speaking of him too, same thing. And then my son Taylor just turned 30 this year. Okay? You don't think I know those kids? Of course you do. You don't think I have grown from those kids and because of those kids? Of course I have. What kind of mother would I be if I did not evolve in that time too? Parents, hard for them to make mistakes. Guess what? You're not in an isolated club. You're not the exception. You're the rule. We all make mistakes. We're human. We go through emotional. It's these outs. It's really has not. It's really not the children. They just get the blunt of it. You know what I mean? They just get the blunt of it, and then you try to change the ones that you already see. You already see, things that they did. You already see, their personality, them. I'll be honest with you. My son Taylor, 2 years old. I don't know how many times I had to call the Roto-Rooter guy. At that time, we had VCRs, so I kept having to take I'm damn VCR in. Get it fixed. Well, the Roto-Rooter guy, he tells me a story. He said, "Yeah, I can tell you the story by what I found in your toilet drain." Get this. So he knew the story just by looking at what was sitting in my toilet and down below. That one of the superheroes fell in. I'm going to assume it was White Ranger. I think it was White Ranger fell first. Well, he couldn't get back out. So Taylor sent the fire truck in to get the White Ranger. Well, that didn't work. So he sent Spider-Man in to web him. To web them all back. Okay? And so whatever one had the powers that he thought could start pulling 1 up, 2 up, 3 up in the whole group. He was ready for the, big guns. That's what was there. And then the Roto-Rooter guy laughed so hard. I mean, I had to climb all the time. I was like, there was a story though. I mean, there was a rhyme and a reason. There was a rhyme and a reason. But he was 2. But if he did that today at 30, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. It's the same child that is the one that doesn't watch where he goes, because he's always going forward, running straight. He doesn't look down to see what his obstacles are. So it's the same thing in adulthood. And stop and see what the obstacles are to get you from point A, from A to Z. You want to get to A, you want to get to Z, but you don't want to go through the alphabet to get there. That's him. I should have known that from again, very much small age characteristics, okay? Well, my happiest child, my sweetest child, my most delightful baby. My boys were so much better than girls, but Taylor was just a happy baby. Happy. Sweetest child. So, what? Okay, well, the VCR, what we'd find in the VCR, it was all his little treasures. It was all his little treasures. And the VCR, the bag, it was not a small Ziploc bag. It was the big Ziploc bag. That is what the VCR repairman would pull out. He could not even, if he wanted to, he told me, explain how it even ran as long as it did, how everything was placed. And it had just broke, so we had just gotten it fixed. And back then, everybody had a VCR. So it's just one thing you take in and get fixed. But it was his treasures. It's wherever he thought, it was his hiding space, was in the VCR. Whatever he didn't want, money, oh my God, money. And not that he's a money saver, If you give him $50, he keeps 10 and gives 40 to homeless people. That's how he's been his whole life. So he'll still do it today. But those were just, I don't know, it was random. But that's who he is. So when he does stuff in that, no matter how we've tried to correct that, he is still that type of personality. Okay? So, when you know the root of where things stem, you know the offshoots of them. Okay? You know the offshoot, the root, the roots, and the offshoot, the branches, the offshoots. That's what you do. You know it. So, how are you going to keep going back like you're shocked at every single thing that occurs? It's beyond me. It's just beyond me. It was unacceptable for us to even talk back to our parents ever. Yep, understand that. At 18, I'm telling you, we knew exactly what to do. We all started working at 15, 16. But you knew exactly what to do. Once you got 18, you knew the next steps. You knew them. It wasn't something that was just like totally foreign to you. Like, oh my God, now what am I going to do? You just went automatically to what you would know. So we assume that our children will do the same. It's just spoken in, it says the street light rule. You're home when street lights get on. How do kids today not know that? But every kid of yesterday does. That was an unspoken parent rule. Okay, that's what it was. Well, these kids today, they just bypass that whole blinking lights, street lights. Those things start blinking, you ride like the wind. You ride and you find strength you never even knew you had, but you pedal because you want to be on that bike the next day, Oh God, that was so fun. What great memories. But anyway, our kids, no, doesn't have the same effect. So why are we surprised? Again, this is where we made our mistakes. Parents made the mistakes. When I was your age, oh my God, I knew how to do that. I went there. Our parents had to talk about, really real issues. They talked about how they had to walk 5 miles to school, which was absolutely true, It was totally different. But see, we just assumed our children would know like we knew. But we didn't take into account the shift. We did not give enough credit to the enemy's ability to hijack the spirit and the soul of America, of not America, but the good traditional, good, you already know, good common sense that is based on a good foundation. Okay, we just assumed they would know, but they don't. So stop saying, stop. See, then why? How did all these kids get kicked out? They wouldn't go by their parents' rules. They wouldn't go by the parents' rules. It was tough. I mean, it's tough. But one day I realized, you know, he don't know how. He does not have a clue of, seriously, not one single spark of which way do I go. It was a complete scarecrow. This smart child became completely brainless, became completely unable to use his ability, his sense of direction, his sense of timing, his sense of read the room, his senses, anything. Can do it. He couldn't do it. I get so pissed off I couldn't stand it. I laughed first because everything he did was really in a very charming way. It was exactly the same way he did it when he was young. But, you know, it only works so far, and then we just start getting mad at him. What we don't realize is, and we don't give them credit for, is that charm. That charm is with them. They're charmed, you know. I mean, that charm is there. Watch the charm. Watch what's going on. What happened to it? What happened to these things that you knew were there? And it was hard. It's still hard because they're not. Oh my God! It did exactly what it was meant to do. Whatever that spirit or that movement was conjured up, was spoken about, was birthed into this reality of ours, generationally, because it shifts, right? So, but our mistake was, we were good people. We were good. We had good families. We did good things. Come on. Come on. Yeah, sure, you got some of that, but I mean, come on. You can do it. I don't even understand that. You know, that's how we were. We didn't get it. They couldn't. They were frozen. They had no clue where to walk. They were a complete cane. That's exactly what it was. It was a complete switch to the left side of the brain function. But not that they lost the right, but the left was so dominating to the right. And by time they got out of high school, they were in that left brain so long that it shut temporarily, you know, shut off, hid, turned off, you know, dressed in drag. No, I don't mean that, but it was masked, you know, they mask it, but whatever they did to it, that's what they did. So our kids cannot make the same common sense, secure decisions. The thing is, it's not so much that they don't have common sense. They don't have the security within them to make a decision that that takes them to that level where they can attain common sense. You know, that common sense that you know from experience. You know, but no, it something halted there. Something kept that from them. And if I thought I was in the world by myself, but I wasn't, because it was all his friends, everything. But I knew that the root, the base of my child was my sweetest child. I knew that. I knew he loved. He was so. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to be confrontational. He just went with the flow. I knew that every meal he was gonna get talking or get whatever, and he was never going to pay attention to where that glass was, ever. ever. So as a mother, I continually played watch the glass at dinner. I know there's a million of you moms out there, just the same thing. But that was my thing at, dinner. I'd eat, do this, but I was looking. I always had my eye. I always had an eye on that Taylor's glass, where it was. If it was a little too nearing. Oh, hey, babe, mom needs you to move your glass back, okay? Because I can see that going over, And so he'd put it back, right? Then he'd take another drink, and he'd set it, and it clipped something. The glass wasn't flat on the table, it was hooked to something else on the table, a knife, fork, whatever was not the same level. That's where he would set that glass. And right as I would say, hey, Taylor, mom needs you to, okay, being at the angle it was already, I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough, because in his movement to correct or to grab it, it would fall over, because it wasn't flat. It wasn't, on a flat surface to begin with. It already had the odds against it to tip over. But every dinner I was aware of it, okay? And so I got to watch the different ways how this drink fell over. I'm going to say 98% of our meals, dinners, in, out, wherever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's what it was. So I became aware of how it would happen. Sometimes it was just plain old a boy rambunctious, gonna, they see that last whatever on there, gonna reach over and get it, or it's caused by the older siblings, who push the younger one around. That happened a lot. So a lot of times it didn't fall over because of him, but it was in response to something another sibling did, okay? So, but what, my point is, you gotta know what happened. It's not the same. They don't have that, and nothing proves me right more than if you look at today. And this is really what has happened. Now, he was born in 1992, so but that was also a special time. That was at the beginning of your gamer. See, he was a gamer from the time he was 2. He was naturally gifted at it. And so he was a gamer. I mean, had every system you could think of. Had the original Pokemon one, everything. Back then, we had a good life. I mean, we were rich. I mean, I could get him those things, and he was good. That's the things why I bought it for him, because, he was just a good kid. And we didn't know. We were stupid. We didn't know about any of those electronic game things, So he's always, so you learn to pay attention. So this started in 1992, so in 1994, by 96, I mean, he was 13, he was top 10 in the world. When he was 13 years old, he was top 10 in the world in Halo and Call of Duty. His man had the most kills of anybody. And his man was killed less than anybody. How about that? His shooter was the highest you could get, and his ability to not be shot was the highest you could get. That's my son. He's 13. No, he can't become professional. No, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do playing video games at 13? And no. Yeah. So because by then when you got somebody that plays it like that, literally since 2, and they're like a genius at 4 or 5 at it. By the time he was 5 years old, he could rewire every system in our house, every stereo system. And then you had satellite, so you had dishes out, right? You had all that them come out with all the boxes, and they hook them all up, and I mean, there's a whole set to that when it first started. Remember that? There's a whole system to that. Okay, well, his life was gaming, so everybody had television sets in their room, But sometimes if you had friends over, you'd want to carry another television somewhere. So he would redo these wires, right? I mean, we're talking, oh my God. It was like in second grade. I was at school all the time. And when he was in second and third grade, I had to go up there all the time to ask him what he did. Because I'm home all day and I can't turn the television on, nothing. I can't get anything to play. And I already know he's, what the problem is. I'm not cut off, I'm not anything. Okay, Taylor was playing it. Yep, okay. So I had to call I don't know how many times I had to call the cable place to rewire the stuff. Thing is, that's still, that was him. So we loved it when we loved it, You gotta take it with bad. Because he could put it, I could call him, he could put anything together. So, but he's a gamer. He's a gamer. That's what he was. So, I just want him to remember now. Just want him to remember. I want my daughter to remember now. I want them to remember. I feed them nothing but, I'm not going to go back. And I do not, I've learned, when the kids are young, we're young, everybody's fighting, everybody knows everybody's business in the family. Every child knows what the other child got in trouble for, they know what the punishment for, they know what mom said to them. There's another thing. Deal with your kids, deal with them one-on-one. Deal with them one-on-one. Because it's at those older ages when the zingers come. Because they remember everything you did wrong. They remember everything you did wrong. So you gotta get past that. Gotta get past that. We all did stuff wrong. We just don't tell on ourselves. That's all. But as a parent, you know your strength, you know it all, and I remember the other two, they're all 4.5, 5 years apart. He was the littlest one. They'd make him, he just wanted his big brother and sister to love him. He wanted to follow him, he wanted to play with him. I mean, it's a typical story. And they only wanted him around when they wanted him to go make him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because they were too lazy to get up off the couch and go do it. Or laying down, tickle my back, He would tickle my daughter's back for hours. I'd go, oh my God, Taylor, please. Baby, don't. I'd say, Tara, shame on you. Mom, he wants to do it because it's Taylor, because Taylor wants to please people. He wants to please you. He will sit there for however long, And so they do a tickle train where they'd be watching a movie. So the oldest was in front, the middle was in the middle, then the third was on the end. And the second one has to scratch the first ones, and the little one scratches the whatever. The poor little one never gets their back scratched. That's why mom scratches the little one's back. FYI, you big kids. So, because mom sees it all. Well, mom and dad aren't perfect. Mom and dad go through things, and it comes back on the kids. But we made the mistake of just assuming there would be a natural, peaceful transition of power. Okay, let's call it that. Peaceful transition of power. That's what we assume when they have to go to their next levels, because it's like it's a new wind that blows, that comes in. You never know which way it's coming, and it's soul trends. You know what I'm saying? It's movements that get put into actual life. They get birthed because of trendies, the trenders, the influencers, because this is what the influencers are doing. Let me tell you that right now. Those influencers are influencing the next movements, which is spiritual, okay? That means, and look at what we have today. The most insecure, unable to make a decision, kids. And so what are the next ones going to be that come off of this? Okay? What is the next one's going to be that comes off of this soul trend, movement? This is what people need to worry about. This is what this is the root of it. This is why it's not the physical, it's the spiritual. Because Cain came in. You understand? Cain came in. They have to hear Abel now. They have to be able-minded. But we slashed them. Because we didn't understand. Everything was lost in translation. We did not understand. So, because we thought we knew. Why? Because we were good. We were good people. We're good. It's not that I don't hear him, we're good. Yeah, it's good. That goes down a whole nother line. So, stop. For your daughter, 2 weeks later, picking up those lawn chairs that you've had ready for her. But even as I sat him down today, I knew already she was not going to put him in her car. I already knew. So guess what? You say, okay, I got him. I'll put him in the shed. But I just want to forewarn you, when that means going in the shed, where I'm moving, I don't know if that's quick access, because you already know your child and how they run late. Whenever they're going to events, usually where they need a lawn chair, and you've got kids, right? She's a single mom, so she's working, she's running, she's always running late. That's just, I did too. So I get that. But she has absolutely no patience whatsoever. Okay, so she will tear that entire shed up. She is like a bull in a china shop. She's gonna just head in there. Then, and so that's where I'm not gonna allow that. So I just pre-warn her. So, hey. So I'm not gonna have any. I'm just warning you ahead of time. We're cutting this down. But I knew, and I wasn't mad. She wasn't. No, I was mad. So I'm not going to be separated from these children that I gave birth to and that I love, that are my life. I'm their mother. I'm their oak. I'm their foundation. And if it's not right, they're not right. And that has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with wealth. It has nothing to do with any of that. We've had it all. And I'm living my best life right now. Can I tell you, I get so excited when I walk out to this backyard. To everybody else, may not be nothing. It's just, I love it out here. I never know what I'm going to create. But better yet, I never know what God's going to create in me, because He talks to me out here. As I'm pulling weeds, as I'm doing everything, I had to go back to I'm in my rest now. He's letting me rest. And I was just having so much fun. I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's not this spot, but I love my backyard. And it's so funny because my kids, I know what they think. Oh, poor mom. She's so lonely. She needs a boyfriend. No, I don't need a boyfriend. I've been dating 17 years. To be honest with you. It's not because there's anything wrong with me. It's not because any of that. We had a major reset in our life. Put it that way. You lose a child, the death of my son and their brother. I mean, that's traumatizing. I knew it was going to be a while. Okay, I knew it was going to be a long while. And oh yeah, by the way, we're poor now. Okay, because we're poor now. So I need a man. I need a man. I'm gonna tell you, I had to go. I just. That was not the answer. That was not the answer. At all. So, but yeah, poor mom. She needs a man. She needs to go out places. No, I don't. You think I would leave what I'm getting from God? It literally downpour down. It's the Spirit. It's the source. I'll tell you this. It is the Holy. It is straight down. But people don't know where I walked for 17 years. They don't know. They don't know. So my kids, I go, I'm living my best life. They're like, oh, serious? I go, no, I'm telling you, I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. I'm having a twig challenge situation because I really don't know what to do with these twigs in my yard, you know? But I come out here and I am totally completely on top of the Alps singing The Hills Are Alive, you know, and the sound of music. I am doing that. Um, because I'm so happy. I'm so completely happy. And to the world, I have not one thing to be happy about. I really don't. But I'm just so happy. I am. I am. So in order to stay there in that place of joy, in that place of rest, he lets you, let me talk about download. You got to see the root of everything. And this is going to be so we don't judge. See, we judged. We judged our own kids. We were the judge. We were their judge and jury. Not as a parent of, you have to correct the errors of just normal childhood, of normal development, of normal life cycle that goes up. Because you learn, and that's why you're there to mentor them. I'm talking spiritually too. Spiritually in us understanding the ground rules. See, we didn't understand the ground rules from the get go because they were tainted. So we already had a defect in us. Okay, an emotional one, meaning that we were more susceptible to um, tears. We were more susceptible to tears. We were more susceptible to, what did I do wrong? Or you either go to there, or you go victim or blame game. It's what I'm saying, victim or perpetrator. That's what's role. There's two roles. That's what it is. You have to learn to be neither. Okay, you have to learn to be neither. You have to learn not to judge the victim or the perpetrator. Okay, you have to learn to. The story will tell it all. The roots. It's the roots. Why do you think Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial really was televised? Do you really know what that was about spiritually? Do you see how God threw that card down? I mean, he just, yeah. I mean, it's multi-levels. It's much deeper. It's levels. But my levels go up, okay? My levels go up. So a couple of years ago, when I found myself reading, because I've read so much for all these years, but I started reading like bottomed up, from the bottom up. I find a part I wanted to read, and I'd start reading up. So I started reading backwards. And the build up is exactly the same as if I was reading forward. You still get the Jaws soundtrack, okay? Or you get the WWE one, or you get the, it doesn't matter. Whistle while we work, it doesn't matter. They all, each has a build-up, and they meet somewhere. And the key is to find that center of that place that they meet. And that is the goal. Find the center where they meet. Okay, because I'll tell you, you've seen the build-up. You've seen from bottom up to top, and from top to bottom. You see both sides. You see the victim, and you see the perpetrator. But the thing is, you see the reaction, and you get to see where the reaction came from, and where and how the intent was formed, and where the intent came from. When you understand and read from those directions. Again, why reread, open your book, and we read from left to right, and the Jews read from right to left. It's a much spiritual, higher thing that you have to understand. And why some read up and down. You're covering it all. You're covering the whole thing. You have a 360 aerial view of what's going on. You can see when those winds blow. So just mend it all with you. Mend it with your children. Be the parents that you are. Don't be the child you're not, okay? Because it's just not good. We want goodness now. We want everything good, right? We want everything good. Not knowing that what came in and hit these kids helped them get to the next step. When my son was 18, now my daughter, she's 39. She'll be 40 in February. So see, it hadn't happened yet in the supernatural, realm of things. That spirit of Cain had not fully manifested out. But my son Taylor, 92, it was. So she was just right in the middle, or tail end, but that's neither here nor there. The fact is, recognize they're unable. Read the room, Mom and Dad, read the room. If after the first, and it's going to take us a while because we just can't believe that our child is that stupid that they can't even understand the simple ABCs, right? Well, again, they're not the exception, they're the rule, because that was the rule, and that's how it was made. They made it to be, okay? Because there was always an evil end goal here, okay? Always. But whatever he puts out for evil, but I'm telling you, the good cards are also going to be laid down. And so they can't. You want him to go out and find a job? Have you talked to that child that you're telling that? Seriously. Have you talked to them? Do they know how to go out and interview for a job? Do they really know? Do they really know? They don't. I'm not saying all. This is not a 100%, but we're talking high probability here. And wherever they work, they just succeeded, just excelled. Until they didn't, because what happened was, Mr. Video Game Champion, right, you get him selling electronics, right, well then, now he's king of electronics. So now he's going to argue with the customer, okay? Or he's going, no, I'm not going to say that. He never argued with the customer. I should not have said that. He argued with the owner, the boss. He knew more than the boss. And sadly, I recognized that he did not have that just normal, common sense understanding. It's the boss. Don't argue with that boss right now. Meaning, it's not that was about a labor or anything. It was, he knew more than the boss about the items that were being sold. That's what it was. Taylor was the best salesman. Best. I mean, he'd make everybody else. Should have seen it. But it was like the boss. It was like the boss became the parent that the kids condescend when trying to get their cell phones hooked up, or their computers hooked up, okay? That's what it is. That's how these kids, you want to know why they can't keep their job? There you go. I'm going to give you a little, 411 on this. At work, that's what they do. They start treating their boss, when I say boss, I mean anybody older than them, okay? It could be younger, because really they don't have any preference. It's everybody, because they themselves have no filter, because it's all that's not there, it's the left side. It's their boss. They are gonna, no, they don't care who it is. They're gonna treat them just, nope. They are that They are that mom, that parent that they have to go over and set their phones. That's how their boss becomes. And they get fired. They get fired because they get fired. Because the boss doesn't know this. Boss looking at him like, what a little asshole. What a little cocky asshole. Here I gave him this job. And then what is the best part of this? He don't even know why he got fired. That's the best part of it. He's completely oblivious. Completely. And this is genuine. When I say this, understand this. This is full-on truth. He's completely oblivious to why that owner, that boss, that manager fired their best employee. He just couldn't get it. Again, I can tell you, you ask any of these kids why they can't hold what happens, they're a victim. They put themselves in the victim mode of it because they are the victim of their ignorance. But again, it was the spirit that came into this. It was the movement, the soul trance. It was the movement that came in, right with them, And so it was the cane. It was the left brain. They didn't let any of that good old common sense, from the farm that you learn milking them cows, cutting that lawn or working that farm, the field. They didn't have an ounce of it. Ounce. Couldn't function if that left side, world side. Because but they have the creative ability that they have is phenomenal. So the aspects of their right brain are there, and they work. But they just work at a lower beam. They work at a lower level where all you can see is, look at him over there chasing bubbles. Look at him. Yep, he's over there chasing bubbles. Yep. That's what I call it, chasing bubbles. I could be talking to him for 2 days, and as he's getting ready to go out the door, okay, what are you gonna do first? Okay, you're gonna hear this, and it's not me pushing him. It's him going to walk. He's gonna adult now. He's gonna do adulting. Okay, he's gonna adult. Okay, and he means it. And at that moment, he does mean it. He really does. He's gonna adult now. Okay, and what I'm looking at somebody that's having a conversation with me far above what a normal somebody of his age at any age would have. Common sense coming through like you can't believe. I mean, we are on it. The minute he walked out the door, every single thing is gone. It's gone. It's gone. Hey, friend. Hey, what you doing? No. Hey, yeah, I'll go with you. I'm seriously. From the front door to get in the car. That's what it is. And gone that fast. And remember, it's completely oblivious to what in the hell he did wrong. Why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything. Why are you mad? I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you mad? How can I get you, okay, Mr. Magoo? How can I build the platform from the door to the car to get you there, just to get you in the car? So at least you can, start your plan at least one time in your direction. And metaphorically, I'm speaking too of literally chasing bubbles. Oh look. It's shiny. There it is. Oh, look. This is the same kid. Why am I surprised at this? It's the same kid that at 3 and 4, 3 years old, his siblings were in school, but he wasn't yet. I was home with him. He'd stand at the very tip of the driveway because he knew could not go past the driveway, right? That's the rule. That's an unspoken rule. Okay? And it was a good neighborhood, and I was right there. I mean, I was obviously in the front yard with him, but he knew he cannot walk past from that driveway, to the road. No, 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 no. So it's very tiptoes. He's gonna stand on the asphalt of our driveway or on his very tiptoes. And he's hollering, he's looking to his left and his right, and he's hollering, "Friend, oh friend, friend, oh friend, it's me. It's me, Taylor. I can play now. Remember me? I can play now." Because he thought that's how you called friends. Because he was 3. And there was these kids, these younger kids, older than him, but I'm going to say 6 or 7-year-olds, that would ride their bikes after school around, our block, our street. But that was after 3 o'clock. Well, at 3, he doesn't know 3 o'clock from 12 o'clock. So he would do this every day. And he just, that's how he thought he called them. "Friend, oh friend, it's me, remember?" And then he'd put his head down, he'd walk, and that's how he thought he would call his friends. And can I tell you, just as many times as they didn't come, just as many times they did come, because he hit the driveway at the exact perfect time. It was after school, or it was after school, right before dinner, or like right after dinner, but it was usually obvious because he went to bed early. So, but I'm saying it was in that sweet spot, that the times that they did come. But Taylor just didn't know what the sweet spot was. That's all. He didn't know because he was 3. But that pattern he remembered. See, our kids are who they are, When he was 2, my husband and him were in the truck, and we went to the farm to water the horses. And Taylor was strapped in. Again, this is 1994. Strapped in, and my husband says, "Oh, I forgot to turn the water off." The car's still in park, hasn't been anywhere, but he left the engine running. And I'm going to say Taylor was 2 or 3. He was in that 2.5. So my husband literally jumps out, takes 5 steps to bend around the back of the house, right, of the horse farm, and turn it off. But that fast, that kid got out, jumped in the driver's seat, was below, hanging on to the driver's, the wheel, and he just knew. He just pulled down, shifted all the way. It really had to go into like 2nd gear or something like that, but because there's no way he could drive head on, But so when you pull down from a truck, and it was a man, so you pull that down. But I'll tell you what, he put that gas pedal, everything he had. He wasn't watching up there. He was watching the pedals. He was doing the pedal thing with his hands. But he hit go with the thing, and that truck sped down. And it was a farm. You had to go back. It was kind of back, and there was an embankment down there, and that truck went straight down. It was a 250, but it went straight down into that embankment. But because Taylor, he wanted to see, because it was the controls at the bottom that he was looking at, he was totally fine because he was in that part of underneath the steering wheel, and where the pedals were. So the tire that was in the back, that went through the whole glass of the back window of the truck into the front window of the truck, we did, and all, it was, it had a lot of damage. But he knew he was scared. He was scared. He knew he was in trouble, but he's scared. But I'm not saying that was right or that was wrong. I'm saying he was 2.5 years old. I'm saying that child was a gamer. The child was very intelligent, but his personality, his essence of character, who he is, has always been the same. Same kid who still spills his glass at the table. And I'm telling you, he is 30 and I'm 59. And I still watch as he goes up the steps to his room. I still watch how he holds the plate. I still watch how he holds the glass. I do. But I don't, um, I don't say something to him because you know what? Um, that's my own thing that I have as a mother and the memories. Um, he doesn't know I do that still, but I do. But I'm not going to say the first time because he is still the kid that lost every toenail, okay? So who never watches where he's going. So all these things are still in play. How are you going to get mad when something falls? My granddaughter, she's at her worst. At her worst, she is at most kids' best, I'll tell you. she's she's a Gemini too. I don't know what that Gemini thing, but she's a Gemini. But oh my God, she's so spectacular in every way, and I mean that as a non-biased grandmother. I see her roots from every angle, and she's special. But she does the same thing. She does the same thing. She don't watch where she's going at all. She does the same thing. She doesn't watch for the, you know, she doesn't watch. She'll come and sit on my bed, not paying attention that, you know, because I'm injured. You know, I have this. Anyway, I have like 10 pillows, right? That's my fault. That's how they're sitting. But you know, she'll go and get on my bed, and she goes to get up. Her mind doesn't. It's not programmed to watch where those pillows fall in the sequence and where they're going to land. She can't project their landing area, right? She don't even know that they've got going to have a landing area because she's oblivious to all of that, as most 8-year-olds should be. That should not be something an 8-year-old worries about, okay? So, Grandma, you know, has just did her, you know, coffee, and I did an iced coffee in this one, and I have it in my thing that keeps it all cold, but then I did a soda too. So I just filled them up. I had both of them sitting right there, right on this thing, on the one side of my bed. That, when she got up, that pillow, in her movement that her body made, it was in its natural form of where that pillow would go, and I saw it in slow motion, and it was perfectly landed, perfectly on both those cups sitting there. Now, rarely did I ever have 2 cups sitting like that, but I couldn't decide what I wanted. I really wanted this iced coffee, but I was really thirsty, and I had to go through that whole thing. But I set them there, and they both filled. I mean, you're talking, and just every out. I'm so sorry. I go, baby, stop. I don't. Hey, listen, do you know how rare it was that just actually happened? That was not your fault, sweetheart. That was not your fault. You are not to blame for that because you had no idea when you got up off that bed. Because I watched you get off that bed. You didn't do it any abnormal way. Okay? It's where that pillow was when everything started in motion. And it just perfectly hit Grandma's drinks. I'm not mad, baby. You know, but I was like, give me a towel. And so I go, I just don't get a towel. I said, I'm not mad at you. No way. I ain't gonna be mad at somebody like that. And you know what? Don't sit and keep this up. This is what I get in my rest here. You know, living my best life, I'm telling you. But parents, take some of the blame. Don't take the blame. I shouldn't say that. Watch my words, not the blame. Look back. Gather your thoughts, but look back. Don't stay there. Don't linger. Don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look back. Because you don't want to cause regret. Grow from it. So you have to face. This is what is the next step for the world, you see, right? Everybody has to face their They're ugly. Everybody has to face what they think is ugly, what they call ugly. Everybody has to face it. Their own. Their own. Because you have to see and understand your part in the everything. And that's all sides. That's good, bad. And you see what you thought was so bad back when you thought it. It really wasn't anything at all. But it's yeah, we all could have handled things better many times in many things. All of us, all of us. But at that time, usually that that was a response from something else that was festering in us. See, there was always another root. It was never because you wanted to be mean to your children, or you wanted to, take it out on them, or scream at them, or make them think for a minute they were at fault for something. Scapegoats. Kids are scapegoats. We use them as scapegoats, and it's there's your extreme levels of it, okay? And then what happens though, if you can't honestly, genuinely sit down with your child, this child that you love, you want the best for. If you're a true parent, you'll sit down, and you both do your own truth. And it's not don't sit and discipline your children or have talks with them in front of everybody else. Don't do that. Because children being children, they gossip, they pass it on, they talk, and they tell a different story of really what happened. But now it's going through another way, okay? And it's varying away from the original, actual truth and events of how they occurred, or how the words were said and the meaning they were said in. Because in that moment, every party knew how that was, but or you and the party knew what it was, right? Because when it's just you one-on-one, when you sit there one-on-one with your child without everybody else in attendance, you can be you, and there's no miscommunication, okay? And so, and my daughter 39, she assumes that I never have these things with my son. And I said, just because I don't tell you doesn't mean they don't happen. Just because I don't tell you when I'm upset with him and I've had to have a talk with him about something, I don't tell you how strong I may vocalize something if I yell. Because I don't tell you the play-by-play doesn't mean it didn't happen. And it's none of your business what we discussed. And the same goes for her. When her brother says something, I said, that's between your sister and I. We've handled it. I've discussed it with her. But that's between her. Learn to do that. Learn to do that. And because this is where the miss everything comes in. The miss and the in comes, the insecurities, and then the loss in translation. Stories change. Stories change. Stories change. Every child's going to tell it differently, because every child was in a different state of mind than the other child. And so the root of their truth and understanding was off. Was in its own lane. It wasn't, it was in their own shoes. They walked their own shoes. It was in their own shoes. Everywhere, So don't do that. And don't assume that you know. But again, with everything that you do know about the child you gave birth to all the way up, and watching and knowing, you should how they adult, okay, that should be something that you should not be surprised in. Okay? You should not be surprised in.